G'day, guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. You've got me, Josh, along with BT and TB today. And look, we're talking AFL again, fellas. Tazza, team previews. We're back in it again with another team this week.
We are. We're looking at our 15th place team. We're looking at the Hawthorn Hawks today. It's very much in a rebuilding phase, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think that's certainly fair to say. So just to summarise again, we are doing rankings of every single team in the AFL as we lead up to the start of the AFL season. All the Stat Chat boys have gone and had a look and ranked the teams how we think they're going to go. Hawthorn sitting 15th, I don't think is a huge surprise, as you said, Tazza. BT certainly with a young list and a brand new coach, plenty of room to grow for Hawthorn this year, you'd have to say.
They've got quite a lot of young fellas who are actually very promising, especially that forward line with Cozzy and Mitch Lewis. Down full forward, centre forward. Like, that's a very good forward line for some young guys. I like that list. I don't think they're, obviously we've got them at 15th, but I think they'll be around there for maybe 2 years. But give those guys 50 more games and whatnot. A lot of these young guys. I don't know. Their list looks pretty good. I like it.
Who do you like in particular, Taylor? Any sort of young guns that we think are, really going to come on this year, particularly under Sam Mitchell?
I've got one that I'm probably tipping to break out. I think that's Jack Scrimshaw this year. I think with Sicily coming back, it may cut into his ability to really take over a game or to marshal the defense like he was more or less given last season. But I think it could also aid his development this year. They're both there for the future. Sicily, I'm pretty sure, is 25, 26. Scrimshaw's in his early 20s. I can see him having a huge year. And, he's in that group for me where I think he could be a smoky for All-Australian with a good season.
Yeah, interesting call.
He can play tall and small as well.
Yeah.
I think he's a very good defender. Their backline's actually pretty solid with Scrimshaw, Hardigan, CJ, Will Day. I think he's going to have a pretty good season.
Will Day.
Sam Frost and Sicily, that's pretty solid defense.
Yeah, it's a really good young defense they're developing there.
Yeah.
The question mark for me, I think, this year is their midfield. Hawthorn really embarked on what looked like a bit of a fire sale with their veterans. All the talk was them shopping O'Meara, Wingard. Tom Mitchell was never on the table, but Worpel was floated.
Do you think that's going to have a negative impact on, I guess, the team culture year one with Sam Mitchell? Because there's certainly, it certainly looked like anyone really was gettable.
Yeah, they obviously know they're in that rebuilding phase, but I don't think it will. Coming with a new coach coming in, there's obviously no favourites. He's not exactly new. He's been in the system, Sam Mitchell. They obviously is a known quantity to everyone there, but I do think everyone's fighting for a spot. There's going to be a new game plan. Every spot's up for grabs, really.
BT, do you think that they're going to look to transition those senior midfielders out and look to bring in, some of the young talent? Obviously, Josh Ward was the first round draft pick this year. Jai Newcomb, the Nuke, he looks like he's having a really good pre-season. He's just been hitting the gym and eating protein shakes. Do you think that, there's going to be a bit of a changing of the guard at some point this season? Or are they going to ride out with the tried and tested gun midfielders they've got?
I think you're going to have your O'Meara, Worpel and Mitchell. They'll be your core three. And then I think the others will rotate through, maybe off a wing and whatnot. I think Lockie Bramble, I think he might get a few runs early on as well. I heard, I can't remember who said it. might have been Tom Mitchell, actually. I heard on Twitter that they don't think Ward will start early. They're going to work him into the season. So maybe like round 7 or so. But I think they're going to stick with O'Meara, Worpel, and Mitchell there. Well, I think Mitchell's a pretty good chance personally for Brownlow. Full preseason again. He's obviously a ball magnet. If they can finish up to, I know we've gone at 15th, but if they can finish close to the 12 mark, I think he can poll pretty well because he's
obviously
they don't tag him
votes off him,
and they don't tag him because he's not that damaging. So we all know it's a midfielder award. So I think he can rack him up this season.
Yeah, interesting. So Taylor, obviously, Tom Mitchell, like BT said, he's going to be a good All-Australian chance. Do you see anyone else from the Hawks, who's a pretty good chance for an All-Australian if they play their best footy in 2022?
Well, he was my pick, obviously. I mean, the most prolific ball winner in the comp deserves to be in that conversation. For the Hawks, I don't know. I don't think there's really any genuine guns in that team that you can really see hitting those kind of heights. He was really the only guy I looked at.
I think it's if Will Day plays a full season, he was talk All Australian before he got injured last season. His use off halfback, if he can have a full season and play like he did at the start of last season, I think he could be a roughie. I know there's a lot of like halfbacks in the comp who may take over him. And who knows what the freaking All-Australian committee is going to choose. They could put a midfielder on halfback. God knows. But I can't see him making it. But if there was anyone else other than Mitchell, I would say it would be Will Day is my pick.
Yeah.
And maybe Sicily as well. If Sicily has a good year getting back to form, we all know that, intercept marking is certainly a stat the All-Australian voters like. But that being said, I don't know if Sicily is actually going to start round 1.
I think he will.
In doubt.
Yeah, so I think he'll start round 1. I mean, I've heard that he was a possibility to play towards the end of last year, but they just decided to give him. I mean, the Hawks weren't in a spot where they needed him, so it was kind of set him off, give him a full preseason, and give him a good run at it. I think he'll be there round 1.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And I think the Hawks are going to see a lot of ball down there. Obviously, they're not going to be dominant. They're not going to be a huge possession team, in my opinion. So I think, any one of those guys, Will Day, Scrimshaw, Sicily, could be in for a big year.
Yeah. So look, we've got the Hawks in 15th this year. I guess the question I've got for you both, do you think that this is the year that Hawthorn is going to bottom out? Or do you think that, next year is going to be another step down again? Because, they obviously had some significant experience lost last preseason, but there's still a number of guys there that are sort of approaching the end of their careers that you'd have to see are going to be dropping off in the next couple of years as well. I mean, BT, do you think this is the bottom for them?
I can't see him really improving too much from last season. I don't know if they're going to be worse than your Collingwood, Adelaide type, Gold Coast type teams. But like Gunston, Bruce, Big Boy, Hardwick, Liam Shields. There is quite a lot of guys who you think within the next couple of years they're going to be gone. I think that they're still going to win enough games. I think they're still going to. I don't think they're going to be. Maybe compared to your Melbourne and Bulldogs type teams, they might get a little bit of a pumping. But I think your mid-table type teams, like your between 8 and 15, I think they could easily knock off a couple of those, especially when they go down playing Tasmania as well. They should get a few wins there. That's why I think I had them at 14th. I think they might just scrape it, but I think between bottom and like 14th, 13th, I don't think it's going to be a huge difference in the teams there.
Yeah, I think you do make a fair point with that one. Taylor, question for you. Sam Mitchell, first-year coach. Who do you think stands to benefit most from his tenure? And how do you think he's going to go? Do you think it's going to be, he's going to settle in well as a senior coach day one, or is it going to take a little bit of time to get used to the mantle?
I think it'll take a little while. They're going to give him time. There's been quite a clear succession plan here. And I think the Hawks have been committed to him for a long time. And I mean, how many coaches is Clarko, or how many coaches have gone out under Clarko's supervision and just taken the league by storm?
Well, I mean,
it's a conveyor belt of talent and coaches.
There's been three premiership coaches from Clarkson within the last 5 years. So that tells you something.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been fails too. I mean, Brendan Bolton, I'm pretty sure, was part of his tutelage. So, I mean, they're not all hits. There's misses, but I think there'll be a hit. That he'll be a hit, sorry. As for who's benefiting the most, I don't know.
I think the young mids would certainly have a real.
That's where I was going to go with that.
Mitchell.
Yeah. I think guys like I think Finn McGuinness, probably. I'd say he's tipped for a big year. I think he will be given a bit of a opportunity through the middle to string some games together. He looks like he's really developed this preseason, and from all accounts, he's burning up the track, as they love to say in the media.
Training the house down. Yeah, we like
That's
that.
It. Yeah. And I think he'd probably be my pick for something of a breakout that we haven't, from a player we haven't really seen much of.
Yeah, and I think we saw, obviously, myself and BT are Eagles fans. We saw the influence that Mitchell had in the 2018 Premiership year. BT, I think it was safe to say that his impact on the midfield was huge, and they haven't looked the same since he left.
Yeah, well, he was an elite midfielder himself. I think Worpel might benefit from him for quite a bit, as long as he doesn't get that negative role what Clarko started giving him. He's a gun player. I think not last season, season before, he had that kind of breakout year. If he can get back to that form, and then Mitchell with the full preseason as well, and I'm pretty sure O'Meara's had a full preseason. I think I haven't heard anything otherwise.
I'm pretty sure.
I think I don't think they have very many injuries at all. I think they've had a pretty good run so far.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything, and this is touch wood, by the way, because every single video we have released so far for an AFL team, there has been a reasonably significant injury to one of their players, either the day after or within the couple of days of us releasing it. Obviously, Ben King went down for the Suns pretty much as soon as we released that video. Paul Seedsman with concussion issues for Adelaide. And I think Jordan Roughhead's out for 4 weeks, and we've just put out the Collingwood video as well. So touch wood, if you're a Hawthorn supporter, I'd probably lay off training for a few weeks. But I think you're right, BT. I think the success of this team is going to be, staying injury-free to their key players. And we've got them in 15th. We were talking with another YouTuber, David Off Productions, who's a big Hawthorn fan. And he optimistically has them around that range as well, about 14th, anywhere up to maybe 11th. So I think that's probably their peak. And like we said, injury-free preseason, and, certainly an injury-free season is the big key to that.
Yeah, completely agree. I think the only struggle they might have is the guys like, because it's GM like Mitch Lewis. They're young guys. They're going to have quiet games, and I think if they don't have good games, one of them, they're going to struggle to score. I think that's where they're going to lack. You can't rely on Bruce and Gunston anymore. They're getting up there in their age now.
No, completely agree. Look, if you've got any major thoughts on Hawthorn and where they're going to finish in 2022, make sure you let us know in the comments below. Really keen to get your opinion on this team as well as all the other teams. And look, make sure you stay tuned because we're going to be pumping out videos thick and fast on every single AFL team in the lead up to the 2022 season, starting in less than, or just over a month, I think it is now, fellas. So we're certainly not too far away.
Just over.
Yep, just over a month. So if you haven't seen your favourite team, don't stress. They're going to be coming out. So make sure you subscribe to the channel or however you get our videos to stay up to date with all the latest content. That's about it from us. Thanks, guys.
One last thing.
Yes, BT, what do you got?
Can we acknowledge how good Josh looks right now? Look at that new look.
Yes. Good call.
Look, I thought that you guys have had a little bit of trim up on the hair, and I didn't want to make you feel too bad. I kept a little bit there, but just trying to impress. And look, we've got the slick new shirts as well. By the way, I don't know if these have been pointed out, but Stat Chat Sports personalized merchandise. We haven't put these out, but if there's some interest, I think we certainly could. So look, thanks for noticing, BT. Love that.
Looking good, Joshy.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Catch up.
See ya.